Yeah, there we go. Jonathan Malm. Today in our called Church Stage Design Ideas. I run a web called churchstagedesignIdeas.com, where around the world post up what they've done on their stage. They post up budget, they post up pictures, materials they use, and then reformat that for you to use for free to do on your stage. I have an online magazine called sundaymagazine.tv. It's a free all about the creative process of Sunday morning. So I'm sure to check those out after the webinar. Make use of them. They're really great resources. So when we're at stage design ideas, it's important to first talk about why we stage design in our churches. It's tempting to see churches down the street, the big mega churches, and think, oh, we must do that because they do that. That's not going to do it. It's to provide a visual representation of what's happening on your stage. So you have a team, you have a pastor, they're singing their hearts out, really trying to get people engaged in what's going on. And you're with the stage, creating a representation of what's already happening. So it's more of a support. Just like we have sound and music to support what we're trying to say message, with visuals to support that. And that's what we're doing. To help people overcome distractions. We live in an extremely distracting world. People come to church on Sunday mornings, they fight with their spouse, they couldn't find the kids' shoes, they almost ran over the dog on the way out. So they're very distracted. And whenever we can capture people's imaginations, helps them overcome those distractions. Also, it's a immersive experience. This is more abstract and ethereal, but it is to get people a part of what's going on. It is Disney World, and you go to an Indiana Jones thing or anything like that. They create an immersive experience. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're part of the action. You're just like watching TV. You feel like you're part of something. That's why seeing a U2 concert in person is so much better than seeing the DVD, because it's an immersive experience. So whenever we do something live, we can create something that's immersive, and that's what stage design is all about. Again, like the big churches down it's not to be cool. I'd like to talk about a few things that every church can do, a few stage design ideas that any church can do, budget, just some cool things that you can do. These are kind of the starting places. You can get creative on your own, but these are some of the ways to start. The first one is a light tower. Now, if you see on your stage, it looks pretty incredible. It looks like it might be multi-million dollars. But real towers that you see are material called coroplast. This is a brand name. It's corrugated plastic. It's the same thing. Like that cardboard that you have out of the plastic. It has the corrugation, the little zip pattern in between. And that's the actual color of coroplast called natural. Natural is translucent, so when you put a light inside of it or behind it, it really glows. So core comes in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets for about $12. See that plastic manufacturers, at Home Depot, at sign companies, it's the same material that real estate companies use for their signs. It comes in a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet. You'll see what there in the picture is. They just scored it in 3 places. Scored it just means kind of slicing down one side to make it bendable, and then make it 3 places to make that cube, make that kind of box. Taped it with packing tape, so put it together, and then there's an LED light inside of it. Cool. It does power. It doesn't burn very hot. So lighting is the perfect type of lighting for this sort of thing, because you're not going to melt the plastic. If you put a traditional light in there that gets hot, you run some fire risk. So obviously be very careful with that. But that's the option any church can do. You can put 2 or 4 of those or 5 of those on your stage, depending on what your budget allows, and you have a pretty amazing experience right there. Next, let's talk bubble wrap. This is something that's kind of exciting. On the website, Church Stage Design Ideas, you'll find all sorts of crazy ideas. People have used regular materials to do incredible things on their stage. Bubble is one of them. That's large rolls of bubble wrap. These guys from uline.com, which is kind of a shipping company, gives you supplies for shipping. They basically use a wooden post on their stage and wrapped it around those wooden posts. UV lighting, and you have this really cool textured backdrop stage. All the that you can find in Home Depot, anywhere you go. It's about lighting them that really, that's what really creates the cool impact. One of the coolest things with modern stage design is not trying to create, a note. We're not trying to create the Titanic on our stage. We're just trying to create an environment, and that can be done with any material in a number of ways. So that's cardboard boxes. That's incredible. These square white cardboard boxes that a guy duct taped together to create this wall. It almost looks like that old Q-Bird game, right? He created a box here, added duct tape on it, then stacked up the next side, kept them together from two angles. So you'll see that on one side, on the right side, it's red. On the other side, it's purple. That's from having two different light shining on it. A simple thing you can do, you can make it as big or as small as you want. If you get 2-foot boxes, you can go 10 feet, and it's safe because if it falls on someone, it's cardboard boxes. It's going to damage anyone. So that's a pretty right there. Now these are things that we grunge panels. They're kind of a unique thing. It's landscape fabric. It's what landscapers use to kind of keep weeds from growing up in flower beds or in things around the front door. It's called Weed Block. I think is a brand name. It's just large runs of weed block. Cameron, the guy who originally came up with this idea, he basically laid them out on the lawn outside, white paint, and then did it with brooms, kind of some really cool patterns, really cool grunge patterns. So it's just white paint on a fabric. Weed block's really inexpensive. Get it at Home Depot in really long runs. That's that rather than fabric. Fabric would work too, though. Then he just the top in kind of metal rings you can put into things that things do. He ground top, hung it from the ceiling, and then lit it. Lit it from the ceiling. You could light it from the ground too. LED is great because you have color changing options, and it's just hot, so you don't run the risk of fire. Again, all this stuff be super safe. Stage design is not that cool whenever people are running in terror. The place catches on fire, it's no longer cool. So very careful. Consult with fire marshals, consult with and your construction people in your congregation. Check over your work and make sure that it's safe. Very important. Next. These walls are super simple. It's just wood. Quality lumber. Treat it, stain it, leave it regular, leave it raw. Just the tower out of it, and then light color. You see, it's a super simple treatment, a super simple stage treatment, but it has such a huge impact. This is lighting. Throw some orange lights mixed with blue. It just creates a wonderful setting for your stage. Next, illuminating. This is a huge trend in churches right now. Basically, this is just your screen door material. Still can buy it again at Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, any improvement store. You get a large bunch of it, crinkle it up, and then hang it from your ceiling. You light it front, and you just have this glowing rock texture. To work at, they did this, and it looks incredible. It was just in person. It looks like it's worth $1 million. It looks like there's a wall behind you, but it's just aluminum screening, stuff that you bring days. So that's another idea. Next, pallets. This is in a big trend right now in churches, using wooden pallets, wooden shipping pallets. So these guys did a whole wall of wooden pallets. They hung a board, a guitar, some hubs on it, just to create a whole theme. And kind of grunge bar texture in the back of your stage. They have something, if you notice in the front, where they hung light bulbs from the ceiling. If you find a store, they have these light holders, these lamps that are meant to attach to paper lanterns. Just easily hang a light bulb from your ceiling, turn it on, and you have a glowing orb in your ceiling. Really cool. That's a big trend with churches right now. So together, you just have this kind of home feel. It feels like a barn on a summer evening, listening to some country music. Cool stage design available to you. One more thing to note about this is that you notice that they lit it from the front, so it has kind of an orange feel. It has that wood texture, but also lit the wall behind it. They blue, so you have this kind of contrast of color glowing through the stage design. That's a cool thing to do on stages is use multiple layers, multiple textures to really enhance the look of your stage. So next, styrofoam. There's actually a few different ways to do this. These guys opted to use half styrofoam balls for their stage. He just screwed the styrofoam ball to the wall, to the back wall. But you can tape it, whatever you need to do to keep it connected to the wall and light it. It's a really cool effect. It creates kind of almost an LED wall effect. And they'll tried it with all the play pit ball. You know wherever you put the balls in the play pen. He basically strung those through with string, those strands from the ceiling. Those are really cool. If you have some air conditioners, that might be a problem. It might start swinging that stage design, which might not be so cool. So this is an option just to make sure that the stage does not move when the air conditioner comes on. Again, simple, really inexpensive. It's about lighting and about your creative use of everyday materials. Horizontal bars. Other use of that material, coroplast, the corrugated plastic. Use white coroplast, cut it in strips, and then lay out on the wall. You attach it to stage flat. Then you can the front, like a really cool linear horizontal stage design. You do it vertically, diagonally. It's all about your use of the materials and just get creative with it. But that's option really inexpensive and has a really big impact. These are this is something that's really cool. It's some patterned paper that's really large, really strands of it. And the stage flat with this paper in really good seam. So flat, you paper, almost like wrapping paper, and then use them as walls on your stage. Actually attach light fixtures to it, so it looks almost like a hotel wall. Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool idea. But you could do this type of paper. This guy has like kind of a fleur-de-lis sort of pattern, but you could get some, flowers. You could get wallpaper if you wanted. You could get regular wallpaper. Anything to create the kind of atmosphere that you're going for. Next is mirror. These are everyday materials that you can use in creative ways. So this is sheets of newspaper and then crinkled it up and hung it. I believe his back wall, but you could also hang it from stage flat. Really cool because the contrast of black and white on the paper does the light create some texture for the light. So on a solid sheet of paper, you have the shadow from the crinkle, but then you also have the shadow from the black because white reflects light and black absorbs light. So anything that the light doesn't really reflect off of. So you texture to it. We talked about this a little bit, but I really go LED. LED, a somewhat new technology. It's very versatile for color because usually you'll come with LED lighting has a red, a green, blue channel. So you mix those colors and get any color that you want with LED. It's safe because it doesn't burn very hot. So, a kid up on your stage who decides to touch the light, he's not going to burn his hand probably. It helps keep the lighting on fire, which is, again, super important. And it creates a great bit of color. It takes very little power, which is great. We had LED lighting at my church, and I ran almost the whole stage off of one power strip, which is not if you're using traditional power can lighting. I recommend if you're using LED lighting, use it mostly for the background. I don't recommend it for lighting faces. But lighting faces is traditional lighting. So that'd be that'd be a Leco, that'd be any traditional lighting that, you know, obviously it burns really hot. It takes a lot of power, but it's really good for faces. It's cheap, which is nice. Usually these lighting fixtures are a lot less expensive. For lighting faces, white for faces, color background, over lighting. That's just a little bit about lighting there. So if you'd like more information, I really encourage you to check out churchstagedesignideas.com. Find me on Twitter at Jonathan Malm, Facebook, facebook.com/Jonathan Malm. And most information is available in a free book on the site. stagedesignideas.com/book. The free download has this information so you can print out, you can share it with people on staff. I encourage you to get into the stage design thing. You know, you might fail a few times, but you just have to try. You just have to start. Once you show people the vision for it, they'll get excited about it and they'll want to help. That's the easy goal of the team, is just to show people what you want to do and get them on board. So much for joining me today. See you later.